Hey everyone, this is Lucas with Fuji, sitting here with most of the Fuji team. Right here I've got Daniel, Bill, Justin, and Kevin. What we did today on March the 21st was watch Apple's media event. And we thought it'd be kind of fun this time to just have a roundtable on what Apple announced and kind of take the angle of how this will impact the businesses that we work with and the schools. So let's just start from the top. Bill, you got a list?
I do have a list. The first thing that Apple kind of touched on was the environment and what they're doing to put things into the environment. And there were some pretty cool points that they brought out there.
Yeah, usually they start with like their product sales and how much traffic went through the retail stores. I think one of the key points that I do remember is that in Singapore, they have 800 buildings across the country with solar panels on top of the roofs.
It's crazy.
And so the entire country is 100% operable, or all of Apple's operations are 100% operable on renewable energy.
They're welcome to put one on top of my house if they want to.
Yeah, you know who's going to put one on top of your house is that little robot thing they talked about.
Liam.
Liam
Yeah.
Neeson? No, not Liam Neeson.
Not Liam Neeson, but
So Apple also announced a new robot of theirs called Liam. I don't think it's for sale, but Justin, do you want to elaborate on that?
Liam is this new little robot. I know that they've got a new recycling program where you can either mail it in. They'll send you like the prepackaged, I think prepaid packaged,
Right, for free?
for
No,
free.
you can just download that. It's a download prepackaged thing.
There you go.
Oh,
Or
Take it to a
or you
store.
can take it to an Apple retail store. And Liam is this new little machine that takes apart the entire phone. I imagine they probably do iPads too, but
Right.
he takes from all the screws, the glass, the battery, the logic board. They take it all off. It's pretty cool.
They're really trying to make every part on the iPhone
Yeah.
as reusable as possible. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
What
so
else?
they also touched on health a little bit, and these devices obviously have a lot to do with health. They announced this thing called Care Kit, and
Right, yeah.
I think it's a pretty cool little
Yeah.
thing there.
And basically, Care Kit is kind of the next step after Research Kit that they announced last year. Research Kit kind of helped pharmaceuticals and universities get input from iPhone users to help develop their research with your motion history, exercise history, and so forth. And then this Care Kit kind of takes it a step further. And
Yeah,
what-
into recovery, I think a lot. Recovery for specific patients, kind of getting the most out of recovery. Whether, and it actually kind of allows you to group more people in. Your healthcare provider, your doctor, your family members. So it tracks certain things, certain parts of your recovery, and it lets you to share it to other people. So,
Right, and the idea there is that instead of just walking, say, out of the hospital or after a procedure with just a piece of paper on what to do, the hospital will actually have an app with steps to do every day, certain exercise goals that you should hit every day. So really taking that recovery process to the next level. using
And
the
it
iPhone.
shows that reporting too, which is
Right.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
Cool. What's next?
Yeah. The next thing was the iPhone SE, which I think is going to be pretty awesome because it's essentially the 6S in a 4-inch form factor. So
Right.
pretty rad. I mean,
I know I've got a few friends and family members who actually preferred the older iPhones with the smaller form factor, the 4-inch screen, as opposed to the newer ones. And so not only do you get the 4K high definition camera, all of the latest features of the iPhone 6S, but it's going to be at the price point underneath every iPhone right now, right? At $399.
yeah.
And Kevin, you had an interesting angle.
This is huge for businesses who are looking to incorporate larger quantities of iPhones for their teams. Apple's actually moving towards installments where you pay a one small monthly cost over a longer period of time, and actually takes that phone down to $17 a month. And if you add a small MDM on that, you're managing your entire team worth of phones for less than $20 a month per phone. So that's a really low price point to begin integrating the phone into a larger quantity of teams.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's going to be big. So not only for customers that don't need the latest and greatest phone, but also schools and businesses
For
that
sure.
are going to be rolling out larger quantities of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then speaking of the iPhone, they did announce iOS 9.3 today,
Okay.
and they call that the biggest dot update that they've done ever. And there were some pretty cool features that they brought out. Do you guys want to talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, so the first one is called Night Shift. And what that does, based on your current location, basically your time zone and the time of day, it will reduce the amount of blue light that your iPhone or your iPad emits, which they say can help you get a better night's sleep.
Yeah, for some
Right.
people.
So I think the effect of that is that your screen will look a little bit warmer, okay, like warmer tones, like sunset type tones,
Like Sunset Boulevard type tones.
like Sunset Boulevard type
Yeah,
tones.
That's right. Yeah.
So that when you are, reading in bed at night or on the couch, you don't have the blue light that can kind of stimulate your mind right before going to sleep.
Yep.
They have-
Another one, Secure Notes, I thought
Yep.
was great. Lots of people, whether they should or shouldn't is a whole conversation, but they secure passwords in Notes or just kind of sensitive data about work, or maybe it is something health related. And now you can kind of lock down the notes and get into your notes via your Touch ID, which is great.
Cool.
Yeah, and I really like how they put an emphasis on education. 9.3 is really making it easier and easier for school administrators and even students to manage devices in educational environments. They're dropping a few new tools, one called Apple School Manager, that's really going to help teachers have a better controlled environment on Apple devices in the classroom. So it's really cool seeing them put that emphasis on those devices.
And to kind of dig in there with the education features a little bit more, the schools will now have the ability to have multiple logins on one iPad. I think they're calling it like shared iPad is the name of the feature. So now a classroom will be able to grab just one iPad, and the student will be able to see his or her picture and name and tap on their account, which will load their home screen with their apps, with all of their
Looks like
files.
home. Yeah.
Right, it's a pretty advanced feature, especially for like a middle of the year update.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to get my hands on that.
for sure.
It's going to be great. And then the last thing I think that we should really kind of touch on with regard to their announcements was the iPad Pro, which essentially what they did was they took an iPad Air and they gave it a lot of the Pro features that they had announced earlier with a smart keyboard and the Apple Pencil and a lot of other things. And I think we should kind of unpack that a little bit.
Right, sure. So basically, it's a new, more powerful iPad at that 10-inch size, and it starts, I believe, at $599.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
So the fact that it's going to work with the Apple Pencil will be pretty cool. I think for businesses, although the iPad Pencil seems like more of an artistic device, it makes annotating like PDFs really a whole lot easier,
That's
taking notes. And then your schools kind of have an obvious application for the art type of applications.
I think if I had to choose between the 9.7 and what's the other one?
12.9.
12.9? I'd probably go with the smaller form factor, my personal preference. But I don't know if you'd switch. I mean, would you switch? Would any of you guys who have an iPad Pro switch?
Nope.
No, you'd
No,
stick
I
with
love
it.
the big screen.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I think all three of us, we are using our iPad Pro the majority of the time now, and we like the larger screen because it replaces a laptop.
Yeah.
Right.
For us, yeah.
For
but
us.
for you and for you,
Right.
I think that smaller form factor could be huge
Yeah.
for just travel and, light notes and
And as an extra device.
Yeah.
doing things as an extra device. Yeah.
Well, something that like perked my ears when they were talking about this USB dongle.
Oh yeah.
And I know that they really
Time out.
were.
Dongle.
Yeah, well, I said it. But they really shied away from that since what 2010 or whenever
Right.
the first iPad came out.
So since 2010, Apple has been telling the world that you don't need USB devices,
Yeah.
right? Like they say,
Yeah.
hey, the iPad doesn't need the ability to plug in an Ethernet cable,
Right.
for example. And the new USB dongle will be able.
They gave that example, like
Right.
taking a Cat5 cable and plugging it in
Yeah.
to be more secure or whatever it may be.
Right.
So,
But I think that actually speaks a lot to the value that they're bringing to the pro model.
For
Is
sure.
that they're saying, hey,
Oh, that's
before
true. Yeah.
this was a great device for doing a lot of things. Now it's a great device for doing a significant amount.
Yeah, they're eliminating excuses. I mean, the same excuses that I had, for instance, when the Pro came out, and just had use cases that it did not provide for me.
Right. And now it kind of does.
that was their cater to business too. That was like, hey, iPad
Right.
Pro, whether it's a 12-inch or a 9-inch,
I think
we took another step forward in you using it in a whole different way for business.
I think it'll open it up for like point of sale environments, banking kind of environments.
They even positioned
health.
it as the ultimate PC replacement during
Yeah.
the keynote.
Right.
What was that
Yeah.
statistic? Something about 6 years, or
I missed that, but
I think it's something about
most PCs
most
are
PC
5 years
users
older.
have a PC 5 years or older, and this would be the ultimate PC replacement.
Right.
for
So-
well under $1,000.
Right. Yeah. It's 600 million PC users are currently using a computer that's over 5 years old. So,
I don't think I could do
just
that.
from Apple's event here, it sounded like they were going right after that market.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we'll see more campaigns, kind of moving that direction.
Right.
Sure.
Cool. What else?
I believe that's it from the standpoint
All right.
of everything that they announced.
Cool. So, out of today's announcements, what do you guys think will have the biggest impact on businesses? We'll talk about schools here in just a second, but the biggest impact on businesses, say 6 months from now.
Well, I mean, I think Tim Cook really made a bold statement by opening up the entire day, the entire morning with the topic of security and making
Right.
that a central topic of importance for Apple. It's basically the entire organization saying this is a very important topic for us, and we know it is for our customers as well.
Right. Tim actually said, acknowledged that Apple is at odds with the government.
Yeah.
So government.
With
Yeah.
the government. So I thought that was interesting that he was just that blunt about it. And it really shows where Apple's interests are. They really want to move healthcare forward, right? Like
Yeah.
storing all of our health information on here,
Yeah.
financial information on here.
Tearjerker video.
Yep.
The health.
Did a-
health.
yeah.
That was pretty good.
Pretty good. Emotional video there about healthcare.
It gets me every time.
So it was good to see Tim Cook kind of pause there at the beginning and say, hey, this is really important to us.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of features lend to the privacy that Apple is taking on here.
And similar to that, I do think it's very important, at least for the business side of things, that they're taking and making some of these products more and more affordable, but still giving you the same features that you would need
For sure.
in a business environment. And so that's huge for teams, like Kevin was saying, to where you can have a phone and a management solution for less than $20 a user. That never happened previous
Right,
to
yeah.
this. So
I think we're going to see more iPhone SE projects with our clients. It's the phone is too powerful, basically, especially at that price point. It just makes a lot of business sense to go with that model.
Amen.
And then, okay, now talking about school. Out of all these features, I think we kind of know the answer here. What do you think will be play the biggest impact on schools, say 6 months from now?
I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's the whole Apple School Manager that's going
Right.
to kind of change that game
Yeah.
for teachers. And you give teachers the right tools, they can do great things. And so,
And Apple's
Right.
not waiting on that. I mean, 9.3 dropped today. I actually just updated my phone.
Wait, how many of us have actually started downloading that
Yeah.
tool? So
Yep.
I'll
Yeah. I mean, and they're not waiting on that. 9.3 is already out today. They're releasing a lot of these other EDU features in April. So, I mean, these features are available now already.
Yeah, so to recap, there are features with the new iPad or the iOS 9.3, and there's also a back-end system that schools are going to be getting called Apple Program Manager, which is going to give IT administrators and teachers more access to manage Apple IDs. You'll even be able to reset student passwords, for example. So it's kind of a new back-end system for schools. Finally, this is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Needless to say, for free, that schools will get to manage their iPads, along with the actual iPad feature of being able, students being able to log into their individual users.
Sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching. We were excited to just kind of have a recap about all these announcements. If you do have any questions, We're on Twitter at Fuji and also on Facebook at facebook.com/Fuji. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.